Welcome back to the Chester Centurions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Bark, and today I'm joined by Chris Moss, owner of Geotech, a business specialising in buying, refurbishing and reselling enterprise-grade network equipment. From Cisco routers and switches to security appliances and VoIP hardware, Geotech serves everyone from global IT brokers to schools, engineers and end users, hunting for reliability without the price tag. In a world where technology turnover is constant, Chris has built a lean, nimble operation that keeps perfectly good kit in circulation, often saving customers anywhere from 50 to 99%. In our conversation, Chris shares the reality of refurbished networking market, how Geotech sources equipment, wipes and rebuilds it, and why demand for both legacy and modern kit is stronger than ever. His entrepreneurial journey from paper rounds to eBay trading to owning the business and the misconceptions people have about being their own boss, and staying resilient through chaos, Brexit, COVID, global supply issues, shifting trends, and the discipline it takes to survive, adapt, and keep moving forward. Let's dive in. So Chris, welcome to the Chester Centurion Podcast. No, you're very welcome. Listen, before we get started today, I'd love to know more about Geotech. Tell us a bit about the business. What do you do?
Predominantly, we buy and sell Cisco networking equipment. I say predominantly because we also deal in HP, Aruba, Juniper, and what else have we got on the list? Dell. So yeah, and also recently Arista, who started coming to the marketplace. So, but we predominantly deal in Cisco. So we buy it from anywhere basically we can get it from.
Yeah.
Usually recycling firms, and we take it in and we clean it all down and then we refurbish it. Sometimes respraying it, but we just basically take all the customer's data off it, asset tags off it, etc., and just make it so it's saleable, and flog it through any number of different sources we have available to us.
Love it. And is it mainly telephony? Is it mainly large telephone systems, or is there other bits of kit?
It's not telephone systems at all. It's
okay.
So, for instance, it's routers and switches and security appliances. So, and we do sell telephones as well as part of that, but they're VoIP solutions. So they all work via voice over internet protocol. So yeah, so we'd say.
So what kind of you help?
Varied. So we deal directly with other brokers.
Yeah.
So because we're classed as a broker, okay. So we deal with other brokers who have got their own end user base. We have our own end user base. We also sell on eBay and Amazon, and that's pretty much it. I mean, people if people find you, they tend to find you through eBay or Amazon for end user wise, rather than via your own website per se. Mm-hmm. And I might go searching for used Cisco online, but 9 times out of 10 it'll come up with an eBay page, and they'll probably click on that and go to the product they're looking for. So I would say that's pretty much, we sell to schools, we sell to other businesses that do what we do, we sell to bigger IT customers who've got that so they might have they might deal in the sort of on selling online sort of so I'm looking for broadband packages to people and all the telephony systems and stuff like that. So I'll sell to anyone basically as long as it's legal.
As long as it's legal. And what kind of cost savings am I looking at? If I'm in the market for a switch or a router, what kind of costs could I save using a service like yourself?
From you, predominantly anything from say 50% savings up to 99% saving, depending on the product. Depending on the product and how old it is. I mean, in the marketplace nowadays, it's quite slow at the moment because of everything that's going on in the world. So it's kind of but you can sell stuff that's like 25, 30 years old, really? Still, because it still works. And people, say you're selling to a company who's got a maintenance contract with so that they want to fulfill everything from the ground up, basically, whatever they've got, whatever they're covering under the maintenance contract. So it could be, like I say, it could be a 30-year-old switch or a router that's still somehow in that, the solution that's out there for the customer. So, yeah, it could be up to 99%, like I say.
Really interesting business. It kind of reminds me of a story, and I'm trying to remember the detail of it, but I'm sure it was NASA that were desperately trying to seek some really old technology because they had a certain system that they couldn't maintain anymore. I can't remember what that was about, but Fortran rings a bell, which is a programming language. But I can't remember. But I'm sure there's a healthy market for secondhand kit. It sounds like it anyway.
Yeah, I mean there is, and also you get people like because with Cisco they have a lot of exams to do, so you'll get people who are doing the training, but rather than them going, they aren't going to buy a new kit to do the training because they won't have the money to do that, will they? So they'll go out and buy like second use kits, so they've got more hands-on experience with it. I mean, some companies actually build a lab so you can still sell a lab to people and what have you. I've never bothered down that route. I tried to just flog the kit and keep it as simple as possible.
Keep it simple.
But yeah, the story you were talking about before, there was a similar story regarding out of adversity comes prosperity. But so when 9/11 happened,
yeah,
the towers dropped.
Yeah.
And underneath one of the towers was where the data center. And to replicate that data center, to get it up and running, to get one up and running, to mask it, there was a company in the UK that had all the cards that they needed to get it up and running. And they went from being absolutely worth zero to suddenly overnight being worth thousands.
Wow.
Just because of that. I mean, it's not a nice story really, but it's just to go to show what value can be held in kit from 20, 30 years ago in some respects.
How long have you been trading, Chris?
I've been involved with a business for 17 years.
Gosh.
My ex-business partner started it in 2005, so 20 years total.
Gosh. So if we go back 17 years, what motivated you to get involved in the business, and what was the driving force behind that decision to take on this role?
I've always done, even if I've had a job, I've always done something on the side to earn a little bit extra, like a little bit of putty money, like we all do. Even from being a kid, like paper rounds, and then another paper round, and then I don't know, a basket from the local supermarket, not to name any supermarkets, and go down the local golf course and then dredge for balls and then give them to my dad, and I need to take them to work and sell them for me. And, so I've always done something to earn a top-up crust, let's say. I kind of like got involved with, I've always been in the IT industry, but usually on the engineer side of it all. I got involved with Cisco. I got a job with a company called Dimension Data, and through that, and obviously eBay starting off, and started buying and selling on eBay, and looking at, and that's how I met when I first joined my business partner through eBay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to his house one day, and I said to him, I wouldn't mind getting involved in something like this. It was just, to him at the time, it was a small business, run from home, one-man band, 2 monitors, 1 computer, and buying and selling. Yeah, that's all he was doing all day. Mainly buying off eBay and selling to his brokers, other brokers. He didn't have end-user businesses, they're brokers. And he used to term it buying a pound for 50p. That's what his analogy was. You buy it for 50p, you sell it for a quid. And then he asked me to join. I probably known him about 12, 18 months, and he remembered what I'd said at his house one day that I wouldn't mind getting involved. Came to ask me one day if I wanted to join him, and I pretty much snapped his hand off, really. I thought, yeah, why not? I had a half-decent job. I wasn't earning particularly good money, but I was doing okay. But I'd always wanted to do something on my own. I always wanted the freedom, you know what I mean? A little bit of freedom.
Yeah, 100%.
And also the financial gain. No one's going to knock back the financial gain that you get from having your own business. And there also, with that financial gain, comes a lot of headaches. Let me tell you.
We're definitely coming on to this. So I love that saying, though. I've written it down here. A little bit of butty money. And you'd be surprised. I've talked to a lot of people on the podcast now. the amount of people that have that kind of sideline, I'm not going to call it a hustle because it isn't. It's a sideline. It's a way of making some additional pocket money.
Yeah.
I had a car washing round that I did with a friend, and we'd earn like 15 quid each a day. And you can, I'm no spring chicken. Do you know what I mean? That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sweetie money. And, I watched Michelle Mon talk at one of our events years and years before COVID. And she ran at school, she had all the paper rounds sewed up. And you had to come to her if you wanted to do a paper round. She ran all the paper rounds for all the local shops. She did deals with all the local shops.
Right, fair enough.
All the boys from school had to come to her for a job, and she'd give them all jobs as a paper round boy, and she'd collect all the money and pay them all. So that was quite interesting as well. So
right,
I think, it's not uncommon for an entrepreneur to buy and sell sweeties at school, and or all these incredible stories that we hear about as we're growing up. But I like that, a little bit of butty money. Kind of quite like that, to be honest. I've read. So, we're 17 years in, and you kind of hinted at it there, Chris. What would you say some of the common misconceptions are about running a business?
Everyone always presumes that you're automatically rich because you've got your own business. Everyone automatically presumes that your life's easy, and you're constantly everything just ticking over. Nobody actually sees. It's like the swan on the water, isn't it? It's gliding along gracefully, but its legs are going 10 to a dozen underneath. It's pretty much like that, isn't it? There's always something going on up here. Even if I'm not here in the office, there's always something going on up here. Like, what can be done there? What can we do there? People think you have a day off, but you don't have a day off at all. You might not be here physically, but you're still there constantly. The only time I switch off is when I go on holiday, and that takes a while. It's not an overnight thing. It's a 2 or 3 day thing. And even then, I wind down for a week, and then I'm back on it again the week after. I'll still be getting involved for an hour a day, while I'm away. It's just part and parcel of being in business. What you got to do.
It is. And again, pretty common to hear that it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. The time commitment.
Everyone would be doing it, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And the time commitment, people think that because you run your own business, you can do what you want when you want. And there's a level of freedom there, to be fair, but you got to put the graft in, haven't you? I mean, some of the business owners I coached, when we first met, were doing over 80 hours a week.
Yeah, easily. Because at the time when I joined George, it was 2008, so it was the first financial crash. Lehman Brothers went bump and all the rest of it. And I remember George came up to me one day and said, "Would you think you've done the right thing?" And I went, "I just won't read the papers. That way I can't be affected by it." And it kind of, we went on from strength to strength initially. And within 18 months of joining George and running things from home, we were getting too much gear in. That was my prime role within the business, was to get more equipment in, to make more contacts on the buying side. And so in the end, we had to get a storage unit. First of all, we actually got I got friends who I got a recycling company, and then they do all ITAD stuff. So it was handy that I knew them anyway, because I was getting gear. And then they put me in touch with someone because we were looking for a building, and it started off in a portacabin. So in the depths of winter, 2010, I think it was, in the middle of nowhere, I had this portacabin, and we had all this Cisco equipment in this portacabin, and I was like, we just can't work out of it. It's far too cold. So I ended up, not far from there, there was a storage unit, like a big storage. So we moved in there. Then we got the unit next door to it because we were growing again. Then we took on our first employee on a temporary basis. He's now still here 16 years later.
Gosh.
Yeah. So, and that's when we're getting to about 18 months in now. We said, we need to buy somewhere. So we bought our first unit, which was on the same trading estate as when I left the Dimension Data job. But actually gone, within 18 months, I've gone from working for a company on there to owning a company on there, which is, quite a good feeling for me anyway. Yeah, made me feel quite good about myself. Then what we always had in mind was, when George hit 65, we'd buy him out of the rest of the business, which we did, and then he would sell me his portion of the building that we owned. We put it in our pension pots, But he came to me and said, Chris, do you mind if I keep this for my pension pot because I need it for the pension money? I said, I understand that, but from my point of view, I want my pension pot to be growing as well. So I don't want to be feeding you. I want to be feeding myself.
Yeah.
So we bought this building that we're in now back in 2016. Yeah, and that's pretty much where we're at with this kind of business and how I got involved and why I got involved. And then it's just sort of like, I mean, at some point we're up to 10, 11 people, down to 4 people now because, well, we've had Brexit, something called COVID. Have you heard of that? then the cost of living crisis, which is still continuing to go now. The wars that are going on around the world. So things have been pinched quite a lot, let's say. So you got to cut your cloth a little bit just to get by.
Oh, you have, without a doubt. So you kind of hinted to this one as well, Chris, but how do you maintain a work-life balance as a business owner? Do you have any sort of personal rituals or habits that keep you motivated, keep you focused? I always get a laugh at this question for some reason.
Yeah, I'd like to give some sort of reasoned, proper sort of response, but the day-to-day basis of running businesses are not always as simple as people may think. So you got to be kind of fluid and move with the times and roll with the punches pretty much. So work-life balance. All I will say, what I've started to do is leave my phone upstairs on charge after 7 o'clock at night, just to have that reprieve from any screen time and spend a bit of quality time with my wife. Or she'll probably watch this and think, when do you do that? But yeah, that's the time to limit my time at night time on the phone.
Well, do you know what? I think that's a great example of being disciplined about making sure you've got time for your family.
Yeah.
And, there'll definitely be some people that take some value from that.
Yeah, it's a tough one because you still got it clogging away in your brain all the time. But, you've just got to do it. You've got to do it for your own sanity as well as anyone else's, I think, because otherwise, you'd either be dead or divorced or both.
Dead or divorced or both. Gosh, I think you're right. Again, it's a really common problem that business owners have is being able to switch off from the business and being able to focus on your family. And I think it was the great Marshall Goldsmith that once said, you need to recharge your relationships as well as your business. It's so important to be deliberate about that.
Well, it used to be a lot harder because I think I started to say this before and I slipped into something else. But 2008 when I joined George, we were doing quite a bit of business with the States as well. So obviously the time frame difference was out. So I was working till midnight some nights, tatting to the States, trying to get deals done with the States. But obviously since Trump's become involved with that side of things, it sort of petered out the business with the States. We still do little bits, but nothing like we used to do. Nothing like we used to do at all.
Really?
We used to do a lot of dollars. I mean, to be fair though, Brexit happened and Europe switched off too. Now, there's quite a number of businesses that do what we do in the UK, and if we didn't have the European business, there wouldn't be many of us left. And then COVID came along and sort of realigned everyone's brain, bizarrely enough, and everyone sort of went, Brexit, what? Threw that out of the door and just carried on trading again as normal, and it just all kicked back off again. So wow. COVID kind of wasn't a bad thing, really. I mean, I know for some people, they've got to think it was. Especially if they lost loved ones, etc. But so I don't mean to undermine those sort of people. But what I'm trying to say is that sort of business-wise, we were still getting stuff into Italy. We're seeing everyone on like leaning out the apartments in Italy. I'm thinking I'm delivering something down that street later on. It was just crazy how we were getting things through to places. Just didn't understand how it was happening, but it was. So it's probably easier to get stuff through than now.
And I think during COVID, a lot of business moved online as well, didn't it? Did that play into your market, I guess?
Yeah, it was. So because everyone went working from home, big businesses had to look at security options because it's all right, you're sitting at home going through your own Wi-Fi routes or whatever it may be, but that's probably more susceptible. And I suppose if they're a banking company or some sort of financial company, they'll have to have certain securities in place to validate for insurance, etc., yeah, and for financial ombudsman and all that sort of stuff. So they bought a load of little tiny little Cisco ASAs, which is security appliances. And luckily enough, just before COVID hit, I had a load in stock but I didn't have any power supplies for them. And I just said to one of the lads in the office, so have a look on eBay, see if you can find any power supplies for them, because I didn't even know why I did it. I just did. And he went, yeah, there's a load here. And literally, the guy said to us, this is the last batch I'm going to ship out before I shut up shop because of COVID. And we got the last batch of like 30 power supplies, which then we had 30 units on the shelf. And yeah, it's more by luck than judgment, let me tell you. But it's just, sometimes the cookie crumbles right, eh?
I love it. Absolutely love that. Listen, business is moving pretty fast nowadays. I don't think it's going to slow down either. I think we're just getting faster, aren't we? What are the strategies that you use to remain innovative?
Is the answer to that question. You've just got to keep looking at the marketplace and see what's out there, what people are buying more than what they're not buying. You can look at yourself and see if you've got too much of one stocked item. So it's different for every business, I suppose, but for ours, it's sort of like the products and what people wanting. But sometimes there might be the latest product out there, but nobody wants it. It's really bizarre. Sometimes you have what you think is going to fly off the shelf, and it doesn't. It sits there for 2 years. Where there's some stuff you think, and it just goes overnight like that. And so it's realising that, spotting that, and then try and get as much of that particular item in, although it's not always that easy because you're determining what people are throwing out, basically.
Well, I think you do know. I think you're doing it naturally. I think what you're doing is you're keeping an eye on the entire marketplace. You're analysing trends. You're looking at trends. You're looking at your stock. You're making sure you've got the right product at the right time. You just do it without thinking about it, Chris.
Exactly that. Yeah, that's what I call business. Yeah,
100%.
Gotta move with the times. 100% of the time.
Okay, cool. What's next for Geotech? What do you see the next step of your journey?
Survival. I'm 56 this year, so it'd be nice to retire in the next 4 to 9 years, I suppose. But 60 would be a nice pinch point, I reckon. But I don't know, to be honest. I mean, at the moment, we're just day
by day
trying to survive, basically, at the moment, trying to get through this pretty much terrible economic time we're all going through. So.
Really? Gosh. So I think you've had an incredible journey as a business owner. I think you've got an incredible business, and I love the fact that it's kind of please take this the right way, but it's almost like God, what a terrible way to start a sentence, Chris. It's almost like a market trader, isn't it? It's kind of a bit like that, but on steroids.
An IT Del boy.
I didn't want to say that.
I know, but I knew you were getting it. I was just getting it for you.
No, I didn't mean that at all. I mean, you just make it happen. You make stuff happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I say, when I joined George, all he was doing was he was on a member of one organisation, and that's fulfilled him enough to be able to do what he was doing at the time. But I think shortly after I joined, when we got Steve involved more than anything, and he had a bit more free time, we could get the eBay shop up and running and get eBay out there, and that's been going now for, let me have a look. It's got to be at least 15 years, I think 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
And from eBay, you might get the odd first sale, but through that you can get big businesses coming to you because they might go on there, buy it quickly because they want it. But then, obviously, to capture their details, you need to phone them up. Because you need to supply with an invoice. So it's an ideal in, let's say. So at that point, you chase them down and get to know who the purchaser is, and hopefully get lots more business out of them, but direct business.
Love it. So one big question for me then, Chris, to finish with, and it's a really simple one. What are the 3 biggest pieces of advice that you'd offer someone thinking about starting their own business right now? You're not allowed to say don't.
When you said right now, don't start a pub at the moment or a restaurant.
Start a
pub. One, make sure you've got the time to do it. And when I say time, I'm talking to be able to give it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week initially to get it up and running, starting off.
Yeah.
2, be financially independent to the point of you need to have that backing, that money behind you, because at first you will not always make money from the off. You will not always be in profit from the off. You've got to understand that. And number 3, just have the just have the tenacity to go for it.
Go for it.
And don't look back.
Don't look
As a
back.
famous band once says, don't look back in anger.
Never heard of them. Yeah, that's topical, isn't it?
Just a touch, yeah.
So make sure you've got the time. Make sure you've got the commitment and the time and the energy to be able to put the effort in to get it up and running. Be financially independent, or as financially independent as you can be, because you're not going to make money from day one.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Don't look back in anger.
Yeah.
Or so they say.
Exactly that.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. There's some great value there for lots and lots of people.
Thank you,
really
Alan.
Appreciate it. I love the business, and thank you so much. We'll have to catch up over a coffee sometime.
Definitely. Cheers, pal.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. Bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.